In this lesson, I'm going to show you how to connect your Canon 90D by Wi-Fi to your Canon Camera Connect app. If you don't have this app, you're going to have to download it from the respective store, whether you're shooting on Android or Apple iOS. So this is what it looks like. Download that from the App Store and then follow along. When we look into the camera menu in this purple tab, this all deals with Wi-Fi and Bluetooth settings. We can connect with Bluetooth, but I've tried it a few times in a few different ways. And the truth of the matter is it's really frustrating because sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't work. So I'm going to demonstrate how to connect mainly with Wi-Fi. You can also use the shortcut in the Q menu by coming into this Wi-Fi icon and selecting Connect to Smartphone. We are going to add a device. In this case, I'm using an iPhone 10. We're gonna hit OK. Very tempting to pair via Bluetooth, but again, I've had some problems with it. I think it's easier, more straightforward to connect with Wi-Fi. What's going to happen is the camera is going to announce its identification, basically its name. It's going to give you a password. So in order to make this work, we need to connect our smartphone to the Wi-Fi of the camera. The camera is actually putting out a Wi-Fi signal, and to do that, we're gonna go into settings. So here's my Wi-Fi settings. This is my normal Wi-Fi, household Wi-Fi, and here's the name of the camera. We're going to hit that, and it's asking for this password number right here. And then I'm going to hit join. It's going to connect to the camera's Wi-Fi. You can see it says start the Canon app software on the smartphone. So we're going to come back to our Canon Connect app, start that up. It's identifying the 90D, which I'm going to select, connect to this. It basically wants us to verify, and we're going to hit OK. In the past, there wasn't all this password set up. It was pretty straightforward to connect, and there were some security issues. And technically, if you don't have the password set up and you have your camera on, the question is, can your camera get hacked and get access to those pictures? It's possible, I assume. But let me show you some of the cool features on here now that we're connected with Wi-Fi. When you connect with Bluetooth, it'll give you the Bluetooth symbol. And to do the coolest feature on this, which is the live view shooting, you still have to connect with Wi-Fi. Now, supposedly Bluetooth makes this a little easier by not needing to put the password in every time, but I've had many unsuccessful attempts with the Bluetooth. Some successful. This is just easier and straightforward. So something we can do is we can look at the images on the camera. These are some of the images we've been going over in the full tutorial that I've posted. If you guys have not seen that video, definitely check it out because I go through most of the camera's features and I show you how to operate that. I'll put the link in the description. I'll also put it in a card in the top right-hand corner of this video. But you can see images that we've taken. We get this designator R+J for RAW plus JPEG. We can see this EXIF data. We can give it a star rating if we wanted to. We could download the image. It's a smaller file, it's just under 2 megapixels. There is an option to download the full-size images. We can send it to a printer. So if we have a compatible printer that works, you could do that as well. We could delete it. So there's some nice options there in terms of viewing. We can change the layout of the grid. If we want a list view with some of the EXIF data, we can look at that as well. We can come in and look at the dates. We can change the order in terms of the folder, the rating, things of that nature. There's also the ability to filter the file types, date range. Pretty nice if you want to look at the images you have on your camera by your smartphone. There's some other cool features in here. Auto transfer is something that I don't really recommend. If you turn this on, and you have your Wi-Fi turned on, this is automatically going to transfer the images from your camera to your phone. There may be a time you want to use it, and if you do, this is where you would set this up. If you do not want the smaller file size, you would turn this off. It would be the full file size. It takes a little bit longer, obviously. And in terms of the security settings, so there's location data that can be embedded in the image. If you want to delete that information from the image, this is where you would do that as well. There are a couple different ways to embed GPS information, which we see right here, location information. And one of the ways is by using the GPS in the smartphone to take that data when they're connected. So as you're shooting the images, it would drop that GPS information into the images themselves. In the past, when I have tested this out, it's a huge battery drain. It's not something that you can sustain for, hours on end. But if there's a certain situation, maybe you're a scientist or maybe you have an important GPS position that you want to tag in your images, this is where you can do it. I'm going to turn this off for now. Something else I have to point out is that in the menu, there is a GPS device settings option. So there's an actual little GPS module that we can use with our Canon 90D that would automatically embed GPS data. If you're doing a lot of hardcore GPS tagging, that's going to be the way to go. We can also come in and look at some of our camera settings. We can reflect the date and time from the smartphone. There's the date and time. We have our time zone, daylight savings. But of all these features, the most useful is the remote live view shooting. And when you touch that, obviously, we can see live view on the camera, and that is reflected on our smartphone. There's a couple really cool features in here. You can see we have stills mode, we have a video mode up at top. We can press the AF button, which is going to focus. And when we take the picture, we drag it over to the shutter button, and it'll take the shot. When we press the camera with a little gear icon, we have the ability to toggle our live view. We can lock the screen orientation if we're rotating the phone in different directions. We can rotate the screen. We have live view magnification by double tapping, and we have touch autofocus. So if we wanted to magnify the view, oh, there it goes. When you focus, you should be able to touch on the monitor. I'm feeling like I have to kind of push a little harder than just a gentle tap, but you should be able to focus using your smartphone. And it should magnify, but it just doesn't seem to be doing it right now. Some of the other cool features is that when we press this little triangle, we get access to our exposure settings. We can change our shutter speed. We can change our aperture. We can change our ISO. And we get an exposure preview that's reflected on the smartphone as well. To close that setting, just tap it again. We have control over our white balance. If we wanted a different white balance, we could have that. Our focusing clusters. We have access to our drives if we wanted to set it up on a timer, no problem. High-speed burst. If we wanted to do manual focusing, we could do so with these guys. This is moving the lens focus by incremental steps. I'm kind of a fan of autofocus myself. It's easier. And again, just tap to take the picture. We can look at the previous image taken. Very nice. When we go back out, it drops us from live view. And when we touch the live view shooting, it brings us back in. Another cool thing is we have number of shots remaining, battery. We have some additional camera settings showing the autofocus button, auto live view. We can perform bulb shooting with a long tap, only with certain cameras. We can come into our video shooting. It's going to switch over. Obviously, the exposure might be a little dark. No problem. We'll just bump this up. We can start and stop video recording remotely. I've actually used this in some of my teaching where I'm on camera and I just needed to start and stop. Needed to see where I was framed. I was shooting by myself. Pretty useful. Look, we got our audio levels right here. Very nice. Most of the same features there. And so this is the live view shooting for video. You can stop it, jump back over to stills mode. By far, this is the most useful feature of the remote. This is a serious tool. You can put your camera in remote locations. I think the limit is about 25 feet reliably, sometimes a little bit further, but once you get outside of that range, it's not really consistent. So something else I wanted to show you is that when you come into your purple tab, we have a bunch of these features here. Obviously, we have our Wi-Fi Bluetooth connection. We can disconnect. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect now. And it remembers the iPhone that you connected to last time. So when you come back out, I'm pushing this direction on the screen. There is a Bluetooth remote, but it's more of a shutter button than anything. And I've had some problems connecting with it. If I have more time, I will post some more of these Wi-Fi lessons just based on your questions and comments. So if you have any questions for me, it would be cool to do like a remote from the EOS utility app to the computer. Having some problems with the printer, it's not always the easiest, straightforward thing to do. So once you've connected, if you come back to your iPhone, so in this case, it wants us to come back to our Wi-Fi. We would select the camera. There it is. Then it wants us to open up the app again. Here we are, open the app, and it's established. And what you'll notice about that is we did not have to retype in the password. So once you do it, they kind of like know each other a little bit. This is the easiest, fastest way to connect. If you don't even want to have a password, you can come in here and turn the password from required to none. I'll leave that up to you. The connection history I think is useful. It allows us to identify the iPhone that we've used. We also have the ability to auto send our images to the computer. So we turn this on, we can enable it. We'd have to pair with the computer. Hopefully I can do another lesson on this shortly. And then we have send to smartphone after the shot. Again, we talked about this. We can reduce the file size or we can go the original size. And then the address of the Wi-Fi. Bluetooth settings allow us to enable or disable the Bluetooth. Again, I've had some problems with it. It does work, just not really great and reliably. We have the nickname of the camera. We can come in and change it if we wanted to. We have GPS device settings. If you have the GPS module, the receiver, we could turn this on and tag our images as we go. And then we can also clear all of our wireless settings. So that is a quick, easy way to connect your Wi-Fi to your camera for remote shooting, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you found this video helpful, you might be interested in my free Canon 90D tutorial on YouTube, as well as my Canon 90D crash course, which will take you from the basics of photography and show you how to shoot on a very advanced level for landscape, video, portraits, sports, and so much more. You can order it from the following link. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.